YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today, guys, like I promised, we're gonna talk about AZAMINA. This is the first time that I've actually played this deck, other than playing this one with White Forest, and I was really shocked that it was pretty fun and it was pretty good. It's a unique way of fusion summoning monsters. You can also use the spell and trap cards as materials as well for the fusion summoning. And what I mean by that, if you're unfamiliar with this is what this deck can actually do. So reveal one AZAMINA fusion monster from your extra deck, so reveal that, and then for every 4 levels that it has, send one Sinful Spoils card from your hand or field to the graveyard to spell summon that monster. So if you targeted a copy of AZAMINA Ryzeal, so every 4 levels, that's basically just one material there, you can send one Sinful Spoils card from your hand or field to the graveyard. This one and a copy of the new AZAMINA Debtors are the only means to do that one from the field or hand. The other bit here is this one recycles them from the banish pile or graveyard. So this is a really nasty card as well if you're going first. So reveal one AZAMINA fusion monster for every 4 levels. Shuffle one Sinful Spoils card from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck. Then special summon the revealed monster. Target one card and negate their effect. A Book of Moon. And lastly, the Sinful Spoils Awakening is if your opponent controls 3 or more monsters and you control a level 5 higher illusion monster, target up to 3 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. For the spell cards, you're really familiar with the Deception already, so tribute on monster, gain one AZAMINA card from your deck. Of course, we're running 3 copies of the Bregzter, the Black Witch. For going second, you also have some board breakers, so a copy of Lava Golem, really nasty card, 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent, and then of course, my personal favorite, Super Polymerization, the new Dominus cards as well. So Songs of the Dominator, and then 3 copies of Dominus Impulse, plus of course my personal love-hate relationship Transaction Rollback. So this copies any trap card in the graveyard, so if ever you have this in the grave, this is gonna work for you as well. And the only means of sending these cards to the graveyard is a copy of Reasoning and a copy of Monster Gate. So tribute on monster, just basically send everything to the graveyard until you have a monster that can be normal summon or set or spell summoned. Same goes with Reasoning, but your opponent needs to call for a level, which is not really a big problem because majority of the time, if they are sent to the graveyard, they can be special summoned to the field. So a copy of Vengeance Dragon can be spell summoned from the hand or graveyard. And this one, once sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this to the field. If your AZAMINA or White Forest monster destroys a monster by battle, you can target one Sinful Spoils spell card in your spell or trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Amazing as well. And this one pops, and if you control a Diablo monster, you can spell summon a Synchro Tuner monster from your extra deck. With the level 8 and the level 4, you can go into a copy of the new Vengeance Dragon. Once summoned to the field, you can place one monster from your opponent's graveyard or the field on the back row, and then you can pop one spell or one monster on the field as well if ever you want. So extra deck, there's only 3 monsters here that you can use for a super poly. So your typical Garura Modragon and a copy of Earth Ignister. Now, you can use also the Pretty Plant monster Triprovertum, but regardless, I think Ignister is the best card so far for Super Poly target because we're still playing up against Malice, of course. If you don't really like Super Poly, you can choose to have 3 copies of AZAMINA Ryzeal here. You can run 2 copies of Saint AZAMINA and 2 copies of AZAMINA. There are 2 ways that you can actually summon this to the field. One of which is you tribute a copy of Saint AZAMINA on the field, plus a face-up monster on your opponent's side, and then you can summon this to the field. So each time your opponent activates a card effect, all monsters they control lose 500 attack. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with 0 attack. So basically, if you're going up against a dragon deck, of course they will spell summon a Hieratic Seal. If you summon this to the field already, then they can't use their Hieratic Seal. So the typical monsters that you need to summon to the field is a copy of Saint AZAMINA. Once this hits the field, you can spell summon one level 9 or lower AZAMINA monster from your deck or extra deck. So going for Moa Regina. And then if you're going second and your opponent has a face-up monster, you tribute a copy of Saint AZAMINA for an AZAMINA. And then you revive the Saint AZAMINA to your side of the field with a copy of Moa Regina. If ever you're going to activate a Sinful Spoils card or an AZAMINA card, you can pop up to 2 cards on the field, which is amazing, by the way. But anyways, that's basically the gif for the whole deck. So without further ado, let's go into the replays and I'm going to showcase you guys what this deck can do. Alright, so here we are with our first game, guys, and we are going up against Ryzeal here. So we have a copy of Reasoning, Triple Tactics Talent, 2 copy of Debtors, and a copy of Transaction Rollback. So I'm going to showcase you guys what this deck can actually do. if you manage to pull off all of the monsters on the field. So here we go. So first off, we're going to go for reasoning here. Our guy is going to chain with a copy of Voiceless and then a copy of Maxi. Yes, the audacity, I know. But we don't really care at this point on, because majority of the time, you can just spell summon 1 or 2 to 3 times depending on the cards that you are dealt with on the field. So there we go, summoning a copy of Bregzter, the Black Witch. He's gonna draw 2, don't really care. Getting a copy of Deception here, Deception activates. We're going for triple tactics, drawing 2 cards just in case we needed some extra cards or sinful spoil cards. So we were unlucky that we didn't get any though. Regardless, we go for Deception, tribute the Black Witch for Queen AZAMINA. Then go for Debtors for Ryzeal Yago. He draws another 2 cards, don't really care. And spell summon a copy of Queen AZAMINA from the graveyard that we sent it to. And our guy will chain a 3rd copy of Voiceless now. So Ryzeal Yago get a copy of the Slumber, and then spell summon it back to the field. And that's it. So setting a copy of Super Poly plus a Slumber, and then a copy of Determination. So we only need this one and this one to the grave, and we're grand. Also, you can chain block or chain link everything here, because this is a quick play spell. I'll showcase to you guys. So there we go. End our turn. Our guy's going first now. Our guy's going turn now. Going for X Ryzeal, dumping a copy of Aggregator. Don't really care what he targets there, because there's no point of that. So if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard and you control an AZAMINA monster, you can gain 1,500 life points and they lose 1,500 life points. So there we go. Chain with Slumber, flip it face down, of course, because we don't want it to like exi summon. Going for Sword Ryzeal here. Going for Node. Going for Debtors now. And then our guy will chain a 2nd copy of Maxi, which is amazing. He drew into a lot of Maxis here. And then you go, into a copy of Saint AZAMINA. And then when our Queen AZAMINA sent to the graveyard, we can special summon it back to the field. Chain with Saint AZAMINA, special summoning a copy of, I think, Moa Regina here. And then we're chaining again with a copy of AZAMINA Determination. Since I think we have 1, 2... You can also consider the monster here as a sinful spoil cards, by the way. So, there you go. Spell summoning the very boss monster in the field. It would be pretty good if this had an animation. So there you go. Moa Regina there. And that's it. That's pretty good. And they can't also target cards in the graveyard, which is practically most of the Ryzeal cards. So yeah. There you go. He's gonna summon the Dual Drive with 0 attack and defense. Going for Cross. Don't really care. And then summons a buttload of monsters. Going for Detonator. Very cool. Using its effect, getting 1 card. Since it used its effect, it turns it to 0. Summoning a monster because this is a Mitsurugi and Ryzeal deck. Sacrifice 1 for nothing at all. So it is very fun. Yes. So that's the best part about this board right here, if ever you manage to go first. So with that is our first replay. Let's move on to our second replay. Alright, so here we are with our game number 2, guys. So we have your copy of Reasoning, 1 copy of Hallowed AZAMINA, 1 Deception, 1 Slumber, and a copy of Determination. Now we're going second here, up against Voiceless Voice. And this is what you can do if ever you're going second and you want to remove a monster on the field, if ever they have prayers in the graveyard. So I'm going to showcase you guys. So there you go. Our guys going first, going for Bestial Rebellion here, getting a copy of Drew's Worm. Use the effect of Drew's Worm. I don't know why he did that, but okay, fine, whatever. Normal summon the low, getting the barrier. Barrier, get a copy of Saphira, and Saphira will gain them access to prayers in the graveyard. And then getting the Skull Guardian. So take note about this. So last state here, if a face-up light ritual monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effects, you can banish this card and spell summon 1 ritual monster from your deck to the field. So tributing a monster on the field, because this is contact fusing in a sense. This one is contact fusing, so it's not really like a monster effect in a sense. Saphira is going to activate ritual summon using the effect of low, or using low. and then going for Skull Guardian, adding one more card, and summoning a copy of Low back from the graveyard to the field. And with that, getting a copy of Sarcophagus and setting one back row. I really thought that this was the trap card though. I forgot what this back row is, but you know, nevertheless, we'll go with first. We got a copy of Betrayal here, which we can actually use later on. But with this, we need to bait out the negate. Hopefully he'll actually use this, but he did. So, going for Deception, he will negate it with Skull Guardian. What a waste of negation here. So we are free to move with our Reasoning. And then sending every card to the graveyard. There you go. And the best part about this is you have to dig and dig. Spell summon the Queen AZAMINA, going next into the copy of Hallowed. Sending 2 Sinful Spoils card from the field and on my hand. Spell summoning a copy of Saint AZAMINA. And since Queen has been sent to the graveyard, it can be spell summon itself back to the field. Chaining with a copy of Saint AZAMINA, spell summoning a copy of Moa Regina from our extra deck to the field. There you go, because we need the 2 pops, by the way. Then summoning the Queen, sacrifice the Saint AZAMINA and the boss monster since it won't trigger the effect of prayers. And there you go, a 4K body on the field. He will infinite impermanence that. It doesn't know that this card pops. Right, okay, so then use the effect of Moa Regina, Monster Reborn, the Saint AZAMINA, and then we attack the low. He might target my Moa Regina. I really want this or these cards on the field first hand. So there you go. Since my AZAMINA monster destroyed the monster, we can use the effect of Queen, get a copy of Deception, and activate Deception, tributing the Queen. And since the Sinful Spoils cards activate, we trigger the effect of Moa Regina, popping the back row. There you go. And getting a copy of Determination again, just for a follow-up next turn. Because I know we have a copy of Determination, but regardless. So, our guy's going just to end the turn. We're gonna pop that. Don't really care if it's gonna be like remove or whatnot, because that was the end of the turn. So whatever happens, it cannot like interact anymore. So there you go. Plus we have the Betrayal from the graveyard that we can actually use if ever to negate whatever. There you go. Flipping it face down. And that's minus 1,500 and plus 1,500 for us. We drew into a copy of Rollback here. Don't really care. Use the effect of Slumber here, not Betrayal. Our guy is gonna negate the activation, which of course I'm not really like it's not really like a problem for me. And set it back. Go for Deception. And then going for an attack. Our guy's gonna use the effect. Sending it to the graveyard. Don't really care because it's battle phase. I could have gone with main phase 2 here. Spell summon this back again to the field. But regardless, I want to end the game here. So I just go for Deception, the Determination here. He will chain with Molcharmi, Purulia, whatever. Okay. There you go. Spell summon my last fusion monster. Ereshiton. I don't know how to spell that, but that's game. So with 2,700, by the way. Really nice. So that's how we end the game there, and that is our game number 2. Let's move on to our game number 3. Alright guys, so here we are with our last game. We started off with a copy of Reasoning, 1 copy of Deception, and 3 copies of Transaction Rollback. God damn, this is so horrible. And although we can pop this one though, but you know, it is what it is. And we're going first up against Sarcophagus deck. So we start off here, going for Reasoning. Hopefully we won't get ashed. Luckily we didn't, because it would be so bad if ever. So anyways, that's it. Dump everything to the graveyard there. There you go. So almost like 17 cards sent to the graveyard here, which is pretty good. Sad to say we have Transaction Rollback already on hand. But nevertheless, we still have Deception anyways that we can actually use. And Slumber that we can actually use as well. Setting 1 card from our graveyard to the field. There you go. Deception is activating, sacrifice the queen, getting a copy of the debtors. Since we still have like sinful spoils cards, we sacrifice one for Muro Siliago. Muro Siliago will add one card, getting a copy of Vengeance, and Vengeance is we can banish one. Since we don't have any use for the transaction rollback on hand, might as well gonna use it, by the way. So yeah, it is what it is. And then getting a copy of Deception on the later turn. So it is Golden Sarcophagus and Blue Eyes for some reason. It is a pretty weird build, but okay, it's still working. It's working properly. Going for Spirit of Eyes of Blue, getting Mausoleum. There you go, your typical stuff. Our guys going for Maiden, getting the trap card, True Light. We'll use the effect of Vengeance here to pop the True Light and then destroying the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. And then for some reason, it suddenly showed up the Shining Sarcophagus. Oh, Shining Sarcophagus, not the Gold Sarcophagus. The Gold Sarcophagus. Wait, why did I say Gold Sarcophagus? And then he got a copy of Gandora on the field. Luckily, we have Slumber here, flipping it face down. And you get a copy of the Determination, setting it back to the field. Our guys gonna go for Future Silence, searching out a copy of the new Dark Magician support for the Shining Sarcophagus. Summoning to the field, and then increasing its attack with the help of the Mausoleum. There you go. So it can attack my Muro Siliago, and then Muro Siliago will use its effect. Add one copy of Wanted from the deck to the hand. So it's not too bad, but nevertheless, yes, it's a weird deck having a Shining Sarcophagus with the Blue Eyes. So anyways, our guys gonna go for Turn Silence there. We go for Vengeance. I was trying to pop the Shining Sarc there, but I did not, or I forgot actually to redefine Print cannot be destroyed by monster effects. So that was really my bad. There you go. Summoning a copy of Queen next. Our guys going for Shining Sarc. Destroying my spells on monster. Luckily, we have a copy of whatchamacallit, Slumber again, flipping it face down. But luckily, it still has the effect. Attack that. He'll use the effect of ending Turn Silence, ending the battle phase there. So I might just need to use the effect of Deception just to remove the Shining Sarcophagus bit, because that is annoying. Going for Hallowed AZAMINA, revealing a copy of Saint. There you go. Saint activates. Spell summon a copy of Muro Siliago. Moa Regina on the field. Spell summoning a copy of Muro Siliago on the field. Activate Wanted. Spin back to draw one. And then also triggering a copy of Moa Regina. Popping two monsters on this side of the field. And we got a Monster Gate. We don't really care about that. But we need to summon a copy of Vengeance here. And then with the two monsters of Queen and the Muro Siliago, we go into a copy of SP Little Knight. Just to banish the Sarcophagus and the back row. Ending our turn. And that's whatever happens here, we can just pop cards. Because we have like a ton of cards in the graveyard with the effect of this one as well. That triggers also the effect of Moa Regina. And then this one here, if this accumulates into 3 monsters, we can also pop up to 3 cards. So it's still pretty good. Also, 1 pop from the Vengeance. So whatever happens here, you go for Silent Magician. Like I said, trigger 1, and then popping up to 2. There you go. And then increasing our life points and deducting 1,500 from his. So that's it. He ends his turn. Summon a copy of Queen AZAMINA. And that's the game. Okay, guys. So, what I think about the deck, it is pretty good. Especially what happened a while ago when we were going up against Ryzeal. He keeps on dumping Mulcharmies and Maxi. So, we don't really care about that. And also, we're going to work with the spells and traps as your Fusion Fathers, rather than the monster itself, so we don't have any problems with that as well. It's pretty good though, but there are only minor problems with the deck. Is there's gonna be some awkward times that were like what you saw on our last game, getting transaction rollbacks on our hand that we can't really dump to the graveyard unless it's gonna be destroyed. But other than that, my ratios here are still alright so far. And yeah, we managed to get some good games out from this build alone. And like I said earlier, with regards to the number of copies from the extra deck, you can remove the Super Poly to remove the Garura, Mudragon, and Earth Golem Ignister for 2 copies for the Saint Azamina, the 3rd copy of Morus Liago, and a 1 copy of Azamina. But so far, the 1 copy of Azamina is still pretty good anyways. Regardless, that is basically it for the Azamina deck. What are your thoughts on the Azamina deck? I'll check out another deck that we can showcase to you guys before the week ends. But anyways, that's it for today. Keep safe, good luck. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, guys. Goodbye.